bought this trailer second-hand back in 2001, and since then it's done a huge amount of work. It's probably done more work than most contractors' trailers, shifting gravel and dirt and wood and trees, and you name it, it shifts it. And it's still a very good trailer, although to be fair, apart from the frame and the axle, there's nothing else still on it that's original. I've replaced virtually everything. But probably the main jobs I do is getting gravel out the river and shifting dirt around the property. And over the last 20 years, I've done most of those loads by shoveling the dirt on or the gravel on and then shoveling it off. So it's been quite hard work. But now I've got this little digger, so I can load it quite easily. It's made a huge difference to the loading. And if I'm not taking it too far, I take the digger there and just scrape it off the trailer, saves me shoveling off. But a lot of what I do is a bit far, so I decided I'd buy a tip trailer. So when I got the digger, I got a digger trailer from HS Engineering in Palmerston North, and it's an excellent trailer. Every time I use it, I'm really impressed with it, and I'm impressed with how well it's built. It's a great digger trailer, but it's also a very good multi-purpose trailer. And so obviously, if I'm that impressed with their product, when I want a tip trailer, I'll go back to the same people. And I was quite specific about what I wanted. I didn't want some big heavy monstrosity that I couldn't tow up and down the hills or put too much on. I just wanted something nice and neat and tidy and easy to manoeuvre, but still get a decent load on. And I can. I've been putting 11 full buckets on each load, which I reckon is about a cubic metre, and that's quite a good little load to shift around the property. And it's just handling it so well. It's just made such a huge difference to what I'm doing here. And because, like for this job I'm doing at the moment, it's just too far to walk the digger up every time I want to scrape a load off, and so I just have to keep shoveling and shoveling. So I just even this one job has made me think, yes, it's worthwhile getting a tip trailer. It's a bit hard to see what I'm doing because we've had so much growth over the last few months that the place has got away on us. The sheep aren't keeping up, so you can't really see what I'm trying to do. But it's quite a rough patch up here where I've been digging stumps out, and it's pretty rough and rugged. And the easiest way is just tip a few loads of dirt on it and just flatten it out. So this trailer's got a corded remote control on that's mounted on the drawbar, and it works well. You can see it tips up nice and easy. I've looked at about 3 videos on YouTube about guys with these little dump trailers, and they fit them with a cordless remote control. And it doesn't seem too complicated to do, and they seem to do it pretty cheaply. And I thought, well, yeah, it could be okay. Maybe one day I'll go there. But just bear in mind that for 20 years I've been shoveling loads on and off the trailer, so I don't find it a great hardship to hop out the car and push a button, especially since I'm getting out to open the tailgate anyway. But no, I'm really impressed with how well this trailer's working. It's really solidly built, and yet it's not too heavy. I don't think I'd ever going to break it. The last trailer I've had for 20 years or 21 years. This one is built a lot stronger and it's galvanized, so it should last more than 20 years, by which time I'm going to be nudging 90 years old, so I don't think I'll be looking for a replacement after this. but it's just so easy to use, and it just makes my life so much better here. It's got a battery on it to power it, so you got to charge that up now and then. And I don't know how often you got to charge it, because I charged it not long after I got the trailer. And since then, I've actually done 44 loads, and it's still going up the same as it did on the first load. So I have no idea how long that battery's going to last before I have to charge it up again. But no, it's going really well. So after I dumped a few loads up here, I just brought the digger up, got rid of all those rocks that were in the way, and then just flattened it out, flattened the dirt out, rolled it down a bit, chucked some grass seed on it, and won't be long, you never know that there was anything else there. It'll be just blended in with the rest of it. So now it's looking pretty good. So I've just finished another job where I had to build up one wall of a pond that runs between the pond and a creek. And so to get the dirt and gravel and stuff across the creek, I just put the ramps with my digger trailer across the creek and backed across and tipped it off. It just made it that much easier. Up here we had a tornado come through a while back, and it actually did quite a bit of damage when it came through town, but when it got to our place, it only just caught the corner of our place and took about 7 or 8 trees, but they weren't overly big. But I did have to get up there to clean it up because some of the trees had blown onto the boundary fence, and it was too rugged to get a vehicle up there. But when you've got a digger sitting in the shed, well, you just get it out and make a track, and then you just go up the track. Although there's nowhere to turn around up there, so I did have to reverse up from the bottom, but that's not a big deal. And so I'm just cleaning up the foliage off the trees along the boundary fence, and the rest I'll just get what firewood I can out of them, and then just leave the rest of the foliage to rot away, because it's all up in the bush. It's out of sight, and it'll do good. It'll do good just rotting back into the ground. So it's only a few loads of foliage that I'll bring down and burn. And we're quite lucky this year because we had a wet spring and quite reasonably wet summer, so things are still pretty green, so we can still have fires, which is a big help because we during the year we do cut a lot of trees for different reasons, trimming stuff and stuff that blows over, or just cutting trees down for firewood. So we always have a lot of foliage to get rid of, and we can burn most year round, apart from the peak of summer when there's a total fire ban. But so I just have a purpose-built burn hole here where I just chuck stuff in, and normally I'll just chuck a couple of loads in and then put some loads beside it, and just gradually feed the fire while it's burning, so it doesn't get too big then. But even a job like this trailer is so good because up until now, everything like this I've got to unload it by hand. But now all I do is back up to the aisle and push the button, and away she goes. It's just so simple. Now I've got a few other loads dumped there that I can just feed on as it's burning away. This trailer doesn't have brakes or lights, doesn't have warrant of fitness or registration, so it's totally for off-road. But there will be times where I want to use it somewhere else. So one of the main requirements when I got it built was that I could just back it up the ramps onto my digger trailer and cart it to wherever I want to use it. So I can't take it on the road at all. Although to go down the river from here, it's only a couple of 100 metres down the road. And although I wouldn't do that, well, only first thing in the morning when the cops are still snoring probably. I've got this whole riverbed full of gravel. It just needs to be liberated, you know. So I bought this little digger a while ago, and it's proving to be a real asset around the place. And then just recently I've bought this little tip trailer to complement the digger, and already I'm finding I'm getting a lot more use out of the digger. I'm actually tackling bigger jobs than what I would have before. So it's literally life-changing having this digger and this little tip trailer. And so we're now seeing the end of a bygone era, and so it's time to get rid of some of my previous machinery.